You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network. Visit us online at
www.xzone-radio.com.
You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show live.
The X Zone Radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, their advertisers, Talkstar Radio Network, or its affiliated stations and their employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Doing that thing you do, breaking my heart into a million pieces, like you always do. And you don't mean to be cruel, you never even knew about the heartache I've been going through. Well, I tried to forget you, girl, but it's just so hard to do. Every time you do that thing you do, I know all the...
And happy Earth Day, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April the 22nd. It is Earth Day, and I hope that each and every one of you celebrated Earth Day in one way or another, trying your very best to make a resolution, an Earth Day resolution on how you're going to do one thing, and I mean each member of your family do one thing to help planet Earth recover from the peril that we've put the fine lady in. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to give us a call tonight, 1-877-528-8255 is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. My email address, xzone@talkstarradio.com. On MSN Messenger, talkstarradio@hotmail.com. And our websites, www.xzoneradio.com. That's our main website. And if you'd like to watch and listen and chat with the coolest radio audience anywhere, www.xzonetv.com. My producer tonight at Master Control at the home of the Talkstar Radio Network in Titusville, Florida, is the one and only Miss Melanie. And our chat room moderator in Scarborough, Ontario, is Rob. To both of you, nice working with you again. And as I said, today is Earth Day. It is Wednesday, April the 22nd. And on tonight's show, Eric Haas is going to be joining me after the first break. We're going to be talking about his book, Apocalypse Near. Hour number 2. X-1. I'm sorry about that, guys, last night. I know a number of you sent me emails saying, hey, Rob, you promised us X-1. But it's okay. We heard Jason Lee, so please have X-1 tonight. So here for our listeners, we're going to play that 1955 vintage old-time radio classic, X-1. In hour number 3, Brian Knippi is going to be our special guest. He is the Executive Secretary of the U.S. Aetherius Society. And in hour number 4, Dr. Don Pett, we're going to be talking about the doomsday clock that moved closer to midnight and how helping President Obama reverse the hands of time is very important to one and all. That's tonight, live and around the world, right here on the Talkstar Radio Network. As I said, today is Tuesday, Wednesday, April the 22nd. It is Earth Day, and on this date in 1864, the U.S. Congress approved putting "In God We Trust" on all American currency. It replaced the old slogan, so who do we trust now? In 1970, Americans celebrated the Earth Day for the very first time. It was a surprise party, Mother Earth said later. She didn't ever suspected a thing. And on this date in 1889, the famous Oklahoma land rush took place as thousands of settlers hurried across the plains to stake their claim and hopefully land an NBA franchise. Today's birthdays include Cheryl Lee, who played Laura Palmer on the old Twin Peaks series. She turns 42. Ryan Stiles is celebrating a birthday. And happy birthday day to you, Mother Earth. Happy birthday, Earth Day to you. Let me see. Here's a few simple changes you can make over the year to make every day Earth Day. If you recycle your Sunday newspapers every week, you'll keep 4 trees alive per year and increase the Earth's oxygen. If you cut one 20-mile car trip each week by completing errands at once rather than making separate trips, you'll prevent more than 1,200 pounds of greenhouse gas from being emitted and adding to global warming. When I come back from this 2-minute commercial break, I will be joined by Eric Hasse. We're going to be talking about Apocalypse Near. My name is Rob McConnell, and this is the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, as we commence tonight's show for April 22nd, 2009. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. My guest this hour is Eric Hasse, and after surviving emergency brain surgery in 2004, Eric created several multimedia works for one purpose: to communicate his vision concerning humanity's role in the Earth's environmental future. He received this information in a near-death experience which occurred during a 6-hour craniotomy to suture a burst aneurysm. His latest work stemming from this experience is the interactive book, Apocalypse Near. The book is being released in several editions, including ebooks, audiobooks, and traditional bound books containing links to supplementary media on the author's websites. The book is a novelization of his screenplay of the same title. Eric's first effort to communicate how humankind may achieve a symbiotic relationship with the environment was www.consciousconsumers.net. Eric feels much of this site was uploaded to his consciousness during an out-of-body experience while in surgery. Following a year of constant work on consciousconsumer.net, Eric became despondent because he felt he wouldn't reach enough people in time to avoid the horrible part of his vision of Earth's future. Eric asserts that during his near-death experience he saw Earth as if he was looking at it from space and watched it changed into a dead, moon-like apparition. Eric said, "It happened in an instant. I saw the planet die of consumption. Then it was like I was turned around to see a biologically healthy Earth. The message I felt being communicated was that one of these circumstances would soon occur, and which would happen was a choice being made by humankind." Joining me now is Eric Hasse. And Eric, welcome to the X-Zone.
Hi, Rob. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing super. Thanks very much for joining us. And how long was your out-of-body experience? And, when you came back, how had it changed your life?
Well, it's hard to say. Well, I could say exactly how long it was in Earth times because the operation was about 6.5 hours, but it felt like time and space wasn't operating like where I was. Like, I was still conscious and I still knew I was me. I was outside my body. And as time went on, I was getting further and further outside of it, and I was all right with that because my body was a mangled mess on an operating table. Well, not mangled. I mean, they very carefully took my skull apart to work on my brain, but still, I didn't want to get back in there.
My goodness, an aneurysm. Thank God.
Burst aneurysm, so I bled out for a while before I got into the hospital. My girlfriend actually drove me there against my wishes because my undergraduate training is in psychiatry, so as this was happening to me, I had this ice cream headache just kind of overtake me, and I was kind of witnessing my brain shut down as I bled. And I told her, don't take me to the hospital, because I knew if I got to a hospital what they were going to do. And I knew what my chances were. So I was quite happy to go at that point, and most of the experience was quite wonderful. I was at peace. The only panic was in, being in my body in the pain.
When you were having your out-of-body, your near-death experience, your out-of-body experience at the same time, did you go through the tunnel of light? Did you see the deity at the end of the tunnel?
I felt like, I was laying in her front lawn. She wanted me to get in her bed. I started telling her what was going on when I got to her house. I was picking her up for a date, and I just wanted to go outside. So I was laying under the stars, and that's what I felt. I was going up into the star that I was looking at, and that just became, this source of light, and I was getting absorbed into it. And that's where I wanted to keep going. But she didn't listen to me. She dragged me in her car and drove me to the hospital, and here I am.
Well, that's a good thing, because we're glad you're with us, because you've got a very important message to tell people. And today is Earth Day, and tell me about the vision that you saw of Earth being totally desolate, and then the other Earth that you saw fully bloomed.
Yeah, as I was, like I said, going up into that, what I thought looked like a star, and then it just opened up, and I was just getting absorbed in that light. And I got turned around, back towards Earth as they were working on my body and fixing me up. And I was looking at the planet I was going back towards, and in an instant it just changed from that, blue marble we see, in those famous outer space photographs back at the Earth.
Right.
And it all of a sudden became it looked deader than the moon, just black and white, just devoid of life. And I was like, okay, is this a bad dream? And then I got turned around in the opposite direction in a way, and I saw a more biologically healthy planet. And the message I felt being communicated to me, wasn't in words, it was in feeling. That's why I say I feel like I got uploaded with this. Was you are going to see one of these two things happen. You're going back to that planet, and you're going to see one of these two things happen, and it's a human choice. This is not God's doing. This is what the humans are going to do. One of these two things. They're either going to get it, or they're going to kill it. They're going to get the message and operate in a symbiotic relationship with the life forces that sustain them, or they're going to keep doing what they're doing, and they're going to wake up. They're going to have a very rude awakening. And then I had the rude awakening of waking up in my body in the ICU and being buried in it. I was completely paralyzed, deaf, dumb, blind, on life support.
Oh Lord! How long were you in hospital?
And the horror of that vision of the dead Earth was, and then also the horror of realizing my situation is what I'm convinced woke me up the morning after my surgery, when I was never supposed to wake up again. They were surprised I survived the surgery. They told my dad he'll be a vegetable. He lived, but, there's so much of his brain that was destroyed that he'll never wake up.
I understand.
I woke up that morning in the horror of that vision and my situation. I bolted up in my bed, pulled out my breathing tool, pulled everything out of me, and asked for my laptop, and that's where all this work came from. I immediately started writing about what I experienced, and that's what made my website, consciousconsumers.net. And then I worked on that for a year, and it felt like I'm not getting anywhere fast enough. Because at first I thought I'm nuts, I didn't really see that, but, we all know the news that's been going on in the last, it's been 5 years since this happened to me.
Right.
And every time I watch the news, I'm like, no, you really saw that. Look what all these scientists are saying. It is dying around us. So the urgency of what's been going on, I next created Apocalypse Near, which was, I'm a filmmaker. I went to film school. So I'm like, let me write a screenplay about this and get the story out there that way, and use drama the way the Romans and the Greeks did, which was often used to scare the populations into behaving, correctly. They used a lot of fear in those early plays, do this or the gods are going to kick your ass. So I wrote kind of this epic drama. That's what the book is. It has to, scare humanity into behaving in concert with the ecosystem, or this tragedy is going to befall you. So I wrote a pretty psychologically terrifying book.
In the 5 years that you've been working on this, have you seen changes towards the planet of survival or the planet of doom?
That's what's so interesting, is it seems like every step we take forward, we'll take another step back. There's still a lot of this fear-based, grasping for money at all costs on the planet. Every time you hear about a wind farm being built, you'll also hear about somebody who wants to, build a nuclear power plant or, fire up a new coal plant, or drill, like in Florida, Florida. So not right now. There's a huge debate about drilling off the eastern seaboard, off the eastern shore of Florida.
And, of course, we've got all the ecosystems that are dying. We've got the polar ice caps that are melting. And we still have the auto manufacturers who are just pouring out these fossil fuel guzzling monstrosities.
Yeah, and these people that are demanding that we drill into the planet more to feed them. And the output of that is what's, melting those ice caps and at a rate that's beyond what scientists thought, when this first became a movement, back in the first Earth Day, was a result of, this massive water pollution that was going on, and these scientists coming forward and saying, you don't understand, if we don't change this, some catastrophic things are going to happen. And now not only are they happening, they're happening far worse than they even predicted back then. They were called crazy for saying, the ice caps can't melt, and now they're melting much faster than anybody thought. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, that's what I saw. I saw it all just boom, all at once, go.
And, of course, people don't realize that there's a very simple rule of hydraulics that is in play when you come to Mother Earth. If you take the fluid out and you do not replace it, and I'm talking about if you take oil out and you don't replace that oil, you've got pockets that are forming, empty pockets, and it all affects the tectonic plates, and people just don't understand this.
Yeah, like all these earthquakes going on now, and more earthquakes in more diverse places all at once.
Yep.
And, you keep, making these giant holes in the planet and sucking it dry. What do you expect?
I'm telling you, people have a lot to learn. Do you think it's too late, Eric?
That's the thought that goes through my head every day. Is it too late? Am I personally doing enough to get my vision out there? Or are we going to get it in time? Because, these scientists are telling, these environmental scientists are saying, look, we're reaching this tipping point where if there's enough carbon in the air and the sun's ultraviolet can't get out, we are going to reach this tipping point where we're going to irradiate the planet, where all the plankton's going to die off, we're going to be without food, the ice caps are going to break down, and it's going to be where we cannot repair it.
Eric, how do you deal with people who are skeptical about the condition of the environment and the greenhouse effect, as well as the depletion of many of the natural resources due to the way that we've devastated this beautiful planet? How do you deal with people who say, come on, it's a bunch of bunk?
I say look at the math. Math doesn't lie. Humans lie, and they lie usually about two things: money and sex.
Yeah, that's right.
And they lie over, and that's a fear-based mentality. And all our wealth, all this currency, comes from the conversion of natural resources in the first place. Without a healthy resource base, there is none of that money, and that's what people got to wake up to. We can get wealthy. We can recapitalize, North America by working in a symbiotic relationship with our natural resource base, and we'll rule the planet again economically if we do that. If we don't, there's going to be no planet left to rule.
Eric, stand by. We've got to take a commercial break with the news. Eric HASSE is our special guest. www.consciousconsumers.net. That's www.consciousconsumers.net. We'll be back after the news as we continue live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
Hey, hello there. I'm Victor Ives from Talkstar Radio and our new commercial-free movie channel, White Springs TV. You know, for over 2.5 decades, I hosted Golden Age of Radio on hundreds of radio stations across America. And now I'm proud to be part of bringing you the Golden Age of Movies, and lots of family-friendly movies without commercial interruption. Find out about White Springs TV online at www.whitesprings.tv. It's free because we do have commercials between the movies while we present cartoons, musical shorts, previews, classic TV, special entertainment, and informational features. See it online at www.whitesprings.tv and on a growing list of TV stations and cable systems, as well as direct from space anywhere in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and much of Central America. White Springs TV.
Whether it's the arrival of Planet X in 2012, the Earth's crazy weather cycles, our deadly global warming, Armageddon, UFOs, ETs, terrorism, the critical mass 2008 presidential elections, Dr. Jason Rand talks the talk and walks the walk. Being a twice-nominated Grammy record producer, recording artist, publisher, lecturer, UFO ET researcher and investigator, and best-selling author of The Return of Planet X, Mankind's Ongoing Legacy with a Brown Dwarf Star, Dr. Jason Rand truly does walk the walk and talk the talk. For more information on Dr. Jason Rand or to order The Return of Planet X, visit his website at www.returnofplanet-x.com or call 901-336-9660. And where will you be in the year 2012?
Hi, this is Baby Fluffy, and you're listening to the X Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network. Visit us online at www.xzone-radio.com.
Hi, this is Ken Elliott. When I'm floating around the universe, I always try to tune in to Rob McConnell.
Hi, ho there, Trinity Frog on Sesame Street. When I want to find out what's going on with UFOs or ghosts, I listen to the X Zone with Rob McConnell.
This is Les Corrigan from Target Internet Development. You're listening to Rob McConnell on the X Zone Radio Show.
This is John Hogue, prophecy scholar, and you're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
There's got to be a morning after if we can hold on through the night. We have a chance to find the sunshine. Let's keep on looking for the light. Oh, can't you see the morning after? It's waiting right outside the storm. Why don't we cross the bridge together and find the place that's safe and warm? It's not too late.
Welcome back, everyone. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. Our toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. My email address, xzone@talkstarradio.com. And on MSN Messenger, talkstarradio@hotmail.com. Our guest this hour is Brian HASSE, and we're talking about Apocalypse Near, an interactive book and feature film project that came to Eric during a near-death experience that he had 5 years ago. Eric, thanks very much for joining us. It's nice talking to you again. And you said that your website, www.consciousconsumers.net, and your book Apocalypse Near were mostly cases of automatic writing. Now, can you explain to us how this happened?
Yeah, I'd like to explain to you how that happened. But, as I mentioned, as soon as I woke up in the hospital, first thing I asked for was bring me my laptop. And I started writing, most of the stuff you find on consciousconsumers.net just kind of came out of me. Wow. I would wake up some days and and just start reading and be like, I know I wrote that, but in a way I didn't write it. It just kind of came out of me where my fingers would just start going. And one of the ways I joke about it is, no, really, I'm not that smart. I didn't write it. Yeah, and the book kind of came out that way too, because I wrote the book in, it's from a screenplay, but I wrote that in about 2.5 weeks, feature-length screenplay, and the book came out. I had to find a new voice to write the book, and the book is actually written as an experimental autobiography. It's in first person, and it came out the same way, where this something took over and just kind of typed my fingers.
Now, I have to ask you a question here. If these were cases of automatic writing, do you feel that you were under or some sort of spirit possessed you, or maybe you were developing and have developed the channeling or medium abilities? How do you explain it?
Those terms kind of frighten me a little bit, because I don't want to be characterized as kind of this out there kind of new agey kind of person, like a channeler that's, because I want people to focus on the logic of what I wrote, particularly on the website. It's all just very logical. It's not very exciting in some respects. It's just all very straight up. But at the same time, how did that happen? How did all this information come out of you? Mind you, while half of my body is under a slight paralysis from the stroke, from all the brain damage, so I really, under normal circumstances, cannot type very quickly. Right. I don't have fine motor control on the left half of my body. So, it's a bit spooky. I can't explain it in a way. And then, as the book wrote itself, it's a mixture of fact and fiction. Like on your sign-in, one of the things I like about your show is, where fact is fiction and fiction reality. I wrote this fiction on top of the truth of my near-death experience to try to, like I said, scare people into this environmentalism, where I stress the mental part of that, because it's a change in consciousness that we need to carry this out, because it's up to everyone to become responsible for their environmental output. But as I was writing the book, that villain that was a fiction that I wrote to scare people, to create this epic conflict in the book, took over my real life, where I was scaring my friends. When I was starting to describe this villain and actually play the part. Because the main character in the story is, it's first person, so it's me as the hero and the villain, but the villain took over, and the villain is a very frightening character. I mean, his goal is to save the Earth by deleting all the humans.
Nice guy.
And he's got he makes a case, he builds a case against humanity, he lays it out like an indictment, and he makes a lot of sense. And he also lays out the exact way he's going to do away with humanity. And as I wrote it, I was extremely frightened to read it back to myself. I almost didn't want to put it in the book. Because, that's too scary. I scared myself.
Now, is it possible that what you've written is actually taken on the what I call the binary lifestyle of the universe, where there is the binary system, zeros and ones, and what you've basically done is written a screenplay that features a binary motif, so to speak.
Absolutely. It's spooky that you should say that, because the villain in the book is made out of dark matter and dark energy, and he is made out of all the zeros of the binary code. He is complete darkness. He is all the off bits.
Holy cow.
And that's the way he's going to, part of the way he's able to delete humanity so efficiently is that you never see these guys coming. You never know they're amongst you. They're made out of dark matter, which, as scientists have recently told us, makes up over 90% of the universe, the combination of dark matter and dark energy,
right,
which they mathematically know has to be there, but we can't see it, we can't detect it. So that's what these guys are made out of. And like I said, this, as it wrote itself, and then I started to find out the truth of this stuff that came out of me that I didn't know about consciously. I'm like, you mean this thing that I made, these guys were created in the core of a black hole. they're made out of dead stardust, basically, dark matter, antimatter, and then I start to find out, no, that's what most of the universe is made out of, and you can't see it.
How has the near-death experience, and I hope you don't misunderstand what I'm going to ask you here. I'm not asking how how you physically have changed, but how has the experience changed your way that you perceive life and the world around you in other matters, but your physical? Because my heart goes out to you because I know exactly how much you've gone through in the past, and how do you feel knowing what you know now, and the way that you look at the earth, and how you see people really not giving a darn?
Yeah, the objectivism that I feel like I gained from the experience, almost like I used to joke around in the hospital that maybe because it was this considered miraculous that I survived at all, and I started to joke around saying, well, maybe I'm not human. And it was a bit of a joke, but then as time went on, I started to realize my consciousness was so different from most humans that I interacted with that it became part of in the book. It wrote itself into how I portray myself in the book, but it's really how I am in reality as well. I have this kind of detached feeling that maybe it's possible I'm not human. I mean, if I can make all the sense out of things and they don't seem to be getting it, maybe I am this upgrade to the human operating system. And that sounds more than a little condescending and conceited, perhaps, but that's one of the things that was going through my head as I recovered.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what happened was you were gifted where you saw something and you were given an insight that not very many people get. And the only reason you were given this insight, and this is strictly my opinion, was because you had the ability as an artist, and that's what a writer is an artist, to take the experience that you had, to write it, and to get it out to the masses.
Yeah, it's the getting it out to the masses part that's been extremely difficult. Because, I mean, let's face it, there's so much competition for people's attention with the advent of, broadband internet and, a million channels through satellite cable and whatnot, that, I thought this was going to be, I'm doing this project to try to, tell people how they can, upgrade their lives and save the planet at the same time, and I'm not able to get my message out there. I felt like I was failing, and I even got suicidal at one point.
What do you think the problem is? Why do you think people are having a problem understanding your very simple, basic message?
It's just a matter of really the amount, there's only so much attention people can give to things, other than, people are busier than ever in the 21st century. Technology has made our lives more busy. It's taken our attention away from each other and fixated it on machines even more, and I think that's I go into that in my book, and this being part one of a trilogy where all this ends up is this takeover of the zeros in the binary code is to turn our attention away from each other and onto the machine consciousness, and that's how they're invading, and that's how they're invading our minds and killing us off the planet. That's part of the fiction in my story, but you could take that into reality, because you look at kids today, they're fixated on their iPods, on their video games, they're not connecting with each other. So the machines took over, not in a very obvious way. It would be stupid to take over like in Terminator. Mm-hmm. Why would they do all that battling when they could quietly take our brains over?
You see, and the funny part about the technology of today is that it could actually be centralized by one power, so to speak.
Yes, exactly.
It's not that hard to do.
It's not, and that's another thing that I get into in the conspiracy of all conspiracy theories in my book about how these villains take over and how they actually centralize that power, and the method that they use to get there is by operating on, inside the human biocomputer and using it against itself to take over.
What do your friends say about the book?
I've gotten reviews of, wow, you might have really hit on some truths in here by accident. I get people that are fascinated, blown away by it, go, you got to make the movie, this would be fantastic as a movie, to people that I really have frightened so much that I think they're a little scared to be my friends anymore.
Well, yeah, the truth scares a lot of people off.
Yeah, but then I wrote, like I said, a very psychologically terrifying story that I don't think people like to think about. Like I said, I scared myself.
But people love horror movies. People
but I'm not writing horror.
Scared.
People like that, Friday, that gore porn kind of horror that's like, it's scary for a minute, and then as soon as the blood's off the screen, you can kind of return to your more normal life because that's the shock.
You see, but
whereas my story, I get inside your head, and that, it's the kind of fear that sticks with you, kind of like The Exorcist was scary because it hit on a level of fear that people still, they comment on that film, it was made 30 years ago?
Yeah, at least.
Because it hit a level of fear where even when the film was over, it stuck with you.
Did it hit fear or did it hit honesty?
That's a very good question. I think it hit a level of honesty because,
That's right.
The demon, the angel versus demon culture is embedded in in the Judeo-Christian cultural history of North America, the entire Western world. So, yeah, that stuff scares people.
You see, and that's just another example of the binary universe that we live in, good versus evil.
Exactly.
So I think when people read your book and understand your concept, they're saying, my God, this is real.
That's some of the reactions I've gotten where, you might have really hit on something, and my response to that has been, I hope not.
Why?
Because, in a way, I wrote it as this fiction, and like I said, so much of it came out of me what felt like automatically, where I would wake up with a chapter written and read it back to myself. And so, yeah, in a way, it's did I hit on something accidentally? My intent was to write a fiction to scare people into environmentalism.
Or were you the conduit for a consciousness that required somebody with your skills and your talent to get the story out there to make a difference?
Yeah, and that's the part that at times comforts me and makes me feel wonderful, and at other times frightens me.
My friend, I think that, in my opinion, I believe that this is what happened. You are being used as a conduit to write the story because you can relate it to humans being a writer and a filmmaker.
Yeah, and the next step is the book came out because I still want to make the film because I feel that's the way to really affect the noosphere, which is another word for the collective unconscious, and to really get it into people's heads and have a shot of saving this planet before we reach that tipping point.
I think you're onto something, and I just hope and pray that you pursue it.
It's almost like I've been handed my hat. I don't have a choice about pursuing it. It pursues me and my dreams.
Well, that's because
I've tried to give up. I can't.
Well, that's good to hear. Listen, you and I have to take our final break, Eric. Please stand by. Always good talking to you.
Good to talk to you too, Rob.
Eric Hasse is our special guest. www.consciousconsumers.net. www.consciousconsumers.net. They say God works in mysterious ways. I believe that what our young friend here has is the ability to be a conduit, to bring to those who read and soon will watch his message the dire need that we must all take to save this planet. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. I'm right back.
Drum roll, please. You're about to make one of the smartest decisions of your life. You're going to get your degree online. It's a fact. People with a degree, on average, make $1 million more in a lifetime. But where are you going to go to school? There are hundreds of online colleges and universities, and thousands of programs to choose from. No worries. Cue the music. Introducing Education Connection. This amazing free service will help you find the right school for you for free. Every day, Education Connection matches students to schools that are perfect for them. Not sure about what to study? Log on to 9educationmatching.com and get a free personality test that can help match you to the right career. This is a $75 value, but it's yours free. So take a minute and go online and learn more about your favorite subject, you. Get a free personality test, a $75 value at 9educationmatching.com. The number 9, educationmatching.com. That's 9educationmatching.com.
Are you getting tired of all the bad news? Well, then take a break from the worries of the world and play the love game. It's time to focus on what is really important in our lives, our relationships. You deserve more love, happiness, and harmony in your life. Synchro Hearts is the new hot relationship game that guarantees more love, laughter, and romance for you and your partner. It's not a sex game, it's a love game based on all the important relationship stuff like better communication, more intimacy, and lots of fun and excitement. Great intimacy is just one of the benefits of playing Synchro Hearts. Now, President Obama inspires hope, love, and peace for the world. Synchro Hearts offers more hope, love, and harmony for relationships. To order your very own edition of Synchro Hearts, visit Synchro Hearts' website now at www.synchrohearts.com. That's www.synchrohearts.com. Synchro Hearts. It's the game you love to play and play to love. Welcome back, everyone. Eric Haas is our special guest. His website is www.consciousconsumers.net. Today was Earth Day, Eric. Your work is what you call environmentalism. You capitalize and stress the mental part of the term. Can you tell us what you mean by that?
Yeah, because that's what needs to get that tweak up is aggregate human consciousness. So we have to affect the consciousness of the individual to realize that, one of the equations that I got in my death experience was E equals C squared. The obvious comparison is to E equals MC squared. I'd remove the M because environmentalism, I'm saying, equals conscious consumption. And if we each got that, we are each responsible for our bio output and the affect we have on the planet through our conscious consumption behavior, our consumer behaviors. If everybody was to get that, it would have an exponential effect because consuming is a constant process for every human being. So even small changes is going to have exponential affects because it's constant, it's going on amongst everyone, and over the course of time, that's the shift that's what would give us a chance. If each one of us took the responsibility and just put that equation in our heads and with each purchase said, okay, we know E equals C squared, so do I need this? What's its effect on the planet? And is there a better choice that I can make?
I think humans are the pinnacle of the expression cause and effect.
Yes.
And look what we've done to this planet based on our cause and effect.
Yeah, it's not. This is not like anybody else is doing. Cows didn't do it. No other species on this planet has put us in this fix. It's our doing.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%, and it's about time we took responsibility for our actions.
Yeah, or our actions are going to kick us right off this planet. Well, it's not going to kick us off. They're just literally going to kill it.
I look at humanity as a disease on the skin of Mother Earth, and she's getting ready to let the white blood cells take care of us.
That sounds like a little bit like my villain.
Hey, Eric, it's great talking to you. Keep in touch. Let us know what's happening, and if there's any way we can help get the message out there, let us know.
Yeah, can I give away some books to your listeners?
You sure can.
Yeah, if they just go to my website and comment on one of the articles in the blog section, I'll send them a free download of the book.
Super. We'll pronounce it. We'll promote it all night tonight.
Great.
Hey, listen, take care of yourself, all right? And I think that you've done something wonderful, and whatever you do, don't let the dream go.
I shall not, sir. Thank you for the inspiration and encouragement.
You take care, buddy.
Thank you. God bless.
Bye-bye, Eric.
Bye-bye.
Eric Hasse, www.consciousconsumers.net. www.consciousconsumers.net. When I come back from the news at the top of the hour, in the first segment, I'm going to be doing an update on little Victoria Tory Stafford, who is still missing in Woodstock. However, there has been a little bit of an upswing in the case. There is an artist composite drawing of the lady who she was last seen with, and according to some sources, there might be a chance of someone identifying her, and that'll be the first major break in the case since little Victoria went missing. More on this when we come back from the news at the top of the hour, and then X-1 here on the X Zone, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network. Don't go away. We'll be back right